Hey.
Oh, hey now.
Hey now.
How are you?
Episode 483. I'm doing okay. How are you?
Episode what? 443? For what?
483, ma'am.
483. Oh my God, look at us. I'm so far behind. I'm back in 443. That's like mid 2020. I don't want to go back there.
I know. I was charting out like when our 500th episode would be.
Oh, when is it?
Let's see. It's March 15th. The Ides of March.
I got that question right on a recent Jeopardy episode.
Oh my God.
Oh, did we even talk about Alex Trebek?
No, we did not.
I can't believe we didn't.
How are you coping?
I'm not. Barely.
Oh, are you so sad?
I did not realize how sad I was until... So, Ren and I got really into Jeopardy.
Oh, I know.
As you can remember. And then we watched every single episode. And some of them we watched twice because, you know, we got to learn. And they do say that you get better at Jeopardy by playing Jeopardy. And watching Jeopardy. So we had to study,
Right.
you know, for... the 0% chance we'll ever make it on there. However, we did play with Alexa, like on the Amazon thing, and we got a perfect score.
Wow.
That's never happened to us before.
Do you think it's the team element, or like do you think you would
for
do
sure.
as well? Okay.
Absolutely not. So
Two
that's
heads
why
are better than one.
That's why we can't go on Jeopardy, because we can't both be there.
You're not allowed to have a team.
You're not allowed to go in partners. I'd be like, no, I got this one. And we also kind of like cheat because we'll say, Alexa, can you repeat the question? It gives us a little bit of a time to pause and think.
Unconventional.
Yeah, right? We're working the system. You know, work smarter, not harder. We should actually get points for that. So, yeah. Okay, so we're you know, on this big Jeopardy kick, and then we watched all the episodes, so then there was nothing for a long time. And then in that time... he passed away.
Yeah.
And it was we were like, it was like Mr. Rogers feelings.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it seemed like physically he really didn't deteriorate. There was really no obvious signs of his ill health. So it just seemed like it couldn't be true.
Yeah. And just hearing, you know, him it was, and there were some really special... like times in the last few seasons, like in the last seasons where
like
there
since
was
his diagnosis.
Yeah, just really special moments that, and they put those episodes on. Like there was one tournament, I think it was, I don't know if it was a teacher's tournament, but there was a woman who won, and like her dream was to like make it on Jeopardy and get a certain amount of points, and then and she got. And she had at the time a terminal cancer diagnosis, and this was her like dying wish. And she went on there, and she won. And then they dedicated the season to her, and then they had a tournament of champions that's on Jeopardy right now, and they're all wearing like ribbons to support her. And then you hear Alex Trebek is wearing the ribbon. It's impossible not to cry. It's an emotional.
Really
Jeopardy
sweet.
has become an emotional roller coaster for us, and we are totally like. Enjoying the ride, but yes, it was just, you know, more just grieving. There was just a lot of loss, you know, and it was just like a lot of processing of, you know, feelings of like, oh, things are different, you know?
It seems like he began to symbolize decency and truth and...
Yes, facts.
and learning and all these good things that we miss right now.
Yes.
And he's so elegant, too.
Oh, and who's going to pronounce genre? That's how he says genre. What's
your favorite category?
My favorite ones are what are they called? This, then that, or it's like the one where they do the mashup of two things. I love those. And it takes me a little bit to get them. Yeah. And then I also love like the double letters or ones where it's like double O's or double consonants or something like that. And I like that. And then it's real funny because like Ren and I have realized that you have to master the categories. And so what our trick is, and so we kind of like think, okay, how do the people who played Jeopardy, what are their techniques? What do we think that they're doing?
Yeah.
We're like strategizing. Mm-hmm. This is what happened when sports wasn't on. And my boyfriend who got second place in his fantasy football team and is really good at analyzing sports and stuff, he didn't have that to do. So he was like analyzing Jeopardy player techniques. He's like, okay, it's the trigger, and it's like, I think there's a book on Jeopardy. I definitely am going to get that for him next gifting cycle.
Well, who's your vote for the next host?
Oh, the black woman from Canada.
I don't know her.
Oh, yeah, I think she's from Canada.
I just know that a lot of people are rooting for LeVar Burton, which would be cute.
Oh, I changed my mind. Him. I didn't even know he was on. I didn't even know.
There's like a thing you can sign.
You can sign, like to vote for it?
Well, it's sort of like what do you call those things? Petition, yeah.
Oh, I want a petition for that.
Aw.
Yeah. Jeopardy
Yeah, he would be great.
Yeah. Who was it? It was this woman who, and I can't remember what her name was, but she's...
I vaguely remember
she's a radio host.
Laura... Okay, and was that the one that Alex said he wanted?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, if he picks her, that's who I pick.
That'd be nice, too.
Right?
Yeah.
But I did not like Ken Jennings.
I do not like Ken Jennings in general.
Period.
Why don't you like him?
Because of his stupid tweets and just because he gives me the creep vibe.
I agree.
He gives me the I make inappropriate comments about young girls vibe.
Wow.
I don't know that he did anything, but I just feel like, and I'm not talking young girls, but I'm talking if there's like a 17-year-old, he's thinking she's cute and doesn't see a problem.
Oh my God. There's no evidence to support this.
Zero.
I support it anyway.
I'm saying he looks at that and says that, which is not even that terrible to say, considering Match.com and their studies said that the men prefer their ideal age is 18. So
that's
I'm like saying 1 year, 3 months younger than that. It's not like I'm making a real controversial statement over here. I think.
Well, it's controversial because there's no reason to believe he's a creep.
Well, his tweets indicate that.
Why? What did he say?
Oh my gosh, what did he say? There's not the one that made me like pissed off. Something like there's nothing sadder than a hot person in a wheelchair. Yep.
Was this a long time ago?
Nope. 2014.
What?
Yep. That's post being on the show.
Come on.
I swear.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad I didn't like him already.
Yep. See?
Wow.
Now.
He's canceled.
Yes, now. And he had Ken Jennings tweets. I'm going to Google it right now. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah. Stumbles into controversy.
Oh, yeah. Stumbles.
Yeah. Stumbles. Like he accidentally fell there.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Also, who's the bean dad?
Oh, my God. I will be talking about it on the next episode.
What?
The bean dad.
Apparently, Ken Jennings came to the defense of the bean dad.
Yes, don't ruin it. I'm so excited to talk.
Oh, my God. None of this is stuff that I had planned to talk about.
Who's bean dad?
Oh, my God. Well, you know what? This is an excellent segue into something that I did want to talk about that happens to be related to beans.
Okay. Well, let me do this then.
Yes.
Before you talk about beans, let's talk about recipes that include beans from HelloFresh.
Please, let's. Oh, man.
Okay.
I love a simple meal. I don't want to think about anything right now. Can you just simplify it? Thank you, HelloFresh, for doing that.
Put it into words how thankful I am because I can't do it anymore. I cannot do it.
Here's the things that I want. I don't want to think about what I'm going to make. I would, please God, can I get a little variety? Because I can't be making the same 4 meals every day.
I can't be planning meals. I can't be going to the grocery store.
I don't want to clean up like crazy afterwards.
No.
And I love a bag that I can put everything in. There's no food waste.
It's so easy.
Tell the people, Suze.
It's great because HelloFresh, as you know, delivers meal kits to your house. And now you can eat healthier because you can do low-cal, you can do carb-smart, vegetarian, pescatarians, whatever. And it's super flexible. You can customize it each week, change your delivery day, skip a week if you want. And then they have like Easy Eats, which are quick and easy meal solutions. So I'm talking 10 to 20-minute meals, and that's what I'm looking for. In this moment of my life. And they're tasty.
To me, there is nothing better than the pork chop with the cherry glaze. That one. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Chef's Kiss. Chef's Kiss.
Oh, my God. And it's a smoked paprika cherry glaze on there.
So good.
God. Oh, my. I'm salivating. It's probably lunchtime for me. So
go to HelloFresh.com/10BrainCandy and use our code 10BrainCandy for 10 free meals, including free shipping. So it's HelloFresh.com/10BrainCandy and then code 10BrainCandy, and you get 10 free meals, inclling free shipping.
That's great.
Oh, please do it.
Also, this is a life hack and insider tip that I have done and we've done in our house. We are only a house of 2, but we get meals for 4 and then 2 days in a row or leftovers for lunch the next day. You're welcome.
Brilliant.
Life hack. There you go. Everybody was like, I want a meal plan. That's like New Year's resolutions.
Right. Do it.
There you go. You're welcome.
Tell me about your beans.
Oh, my gosh, yes. So this is really funny. I stumbled across this article that I just have to give a tip of the hat to the author of this article, a guy named James Felton, who wrote...
I love James Felton.
You know who this is?
Yes.
He's great.
Super funny.
So funny. My favorite was how it was written. Okay, so the title of the author is Pythagoras believes that beans are humans, and that may have killed him. So, you know where we get Pythagorean theorem, the triangle thing? Is it a squared plus b squared equals c squared? I believe that's it.
Yeah.
So, it's so funny when, like, we take these... You know, the line between genius and insanity.
Right.
You know? And sometimes people who have these genius ideas also have some ideas that maybe aren't so genius. Yep. So he was totally cuckoo crazy. And he had this belief. I don't know where he got this, and neither do they. And this article doesn't say, because that's weird. Right. And I'm like trying to think of how he would come up with this. But
right.
He believed that your soul, when you died, your soul got transferred into another animal, and so that was like a claim for why he stopped eating meat. And he also believed that humans and beans, which is weird that we call them human beings, which is not in any way the same thing.
Okay.
Humans and beans came from the same source. And here's why. This is hilarious. No, like, for a guy who came up with like a equation or a theory that's like heavily rooted in like science, this is it. He designed this experiment, I put that in quotes, where he took a bunch of beans and he buried them and then waited for a week for them to grow, or for a few weeks. And when he dug them up, he noticed that they looked like human fetuses, and that was all the evidence he needed.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. And so he concluded that eating beans would basically be like cannibalism. And so he had this commune, like this group, like he was kind of like a cult leader in a weird way, where he had this group of followers and this commune that he ran where he forbid people from eating them. And he said that beans could contain souls of the dead.
Wow.
Yep. And he went so far to say that smashing beans counted as murder. Yep.
Oh, my God.
Right? Isn't that hilarious?
Come on.
For real.
It's bonkers.
It's so crazy. And so, like, some of the funniest things, some of the funniest things in the article, like, so I'm just going to read you this part because it's so hilarious and so well written. According to a legend, a son of a nobleman named Chilon attempted to get into Pythagoras' bean cult, and then in parentheses, come for the lack of beans, stay for the triangles. Hilarious!
So great.
So great. I was like, this guy had me cracking up. I'm going to link this article because it's so funny. Everybody just has to read it because the laughs are so good. But he was rejected for his unwillingness to abide by the training rules, which involved 5 years of silence before you even get to the triangles. Oh, so hilarious. Stop. Right? That's why I was like, I have to read it to you. It's so funny. So Naturally, Kylon formed a mob. Just look how things were done back then. In order to attack Pythagoras and burned the commune's buildings. As they fled, the mob would stab them to death. But Pythagoras managed to escape the mob thanks to his friends, who formed a human bridge to get him out of the building. Unfortunately, he fled, and the worst happened. The path took him right into a bean field. Refusing to trample through the fields, committing genocide like a beanzilla, Pythagoras stood there and was stabbed to death. A crime that I'm sure Pythagoras noted at the time was so heinous, it was on par with forking a bean.
This cannot be true.
There are various other theories about his death that include after his followers were killed in the fire, he died by suicide, or else starved while hiding from the mob, which is a lot less beany and fun.
So it's like he died doing what he loved, not eating beans.
Not eating beans. What is that about?
I cannot even. Do you think that he really was not smart and it was like the broken clock thing where he just got one thing right?
Or do you think it's like one of those things where like I just imagine all those like mathematicians with like the boards with all of like he's got triangles everywhere, and now he's like seeing triangles and everything. And you know, like when like he's looking for stuff that isn't there because that worked in one place, and then it's kind of like if the guy who accidentally discovered penicillin just started well, that worked, I'm just gonna do a whole bunch of other accidents, and then started combining weird things, and like, you know, I don't know.
Right.
Or maybe the same people who discovered that if you lick a frog, you get high. You gotta they gotta lick a bunch of other animals, and that's weird.
That just seems like a real stretch to be like, that kind of looks like a fetus.
A big stretch. And then and then in the article he also says, like, when he's talking about that, like burying them, he's like, he got a bunch of beans and buried them, not noticing how this is rarely done to humans.
Wow.
Like, can you believe that? And
so like, that guy's a total idiot.
Total idiot. Yeah, we go spouting out that theorem like, you know.
Or maybe he was right and we've just been committing
beanocide.
Beanocide.
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
So
I
how
did
about
not
that
see
one?
that coming.
Me neither. So I'm going to link that article because I was just reading it, and it sounds like it could be an article from The Onion.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like, you know, and what do we know about what happened back then? But it is funny to hear the stories of you know, just like the insane things that people do. Everybody's got it. People, weird, I don't know. Everybody's got weird quirks.
Do you think that the problem with how sometimes genius and insanity are, you know, a little too close for comfort, do you think that that's the thing where, like, ignorance is bliss, so then if you know a lot, then it's misery? Or, because I don't, like, why?
Is it, you know, because I wonder, you know, like, what is intelligence? What is, you know, I if you listen to my I would say good friend, but I don't know him in real life, just in my head, Robert Sapolsky, the biological anthropologist, he says that the things that make us human are like the ability to create metaphors, like compare things. This is like this, and have a relationship. I can look at you can hold up a watermelon and you can see a food source. That would be what most animals would see it as. We can carve into it and make it a piece of art. We can cut into it and make it shaped like a basket to then be used as a tool. We can
we can connect the dots.
Yeah, and we do those things because we look at something and then create other connections through it. And I think about, you know, why I have this podcast and why, you know, we like, and my mom did a really good job of strengthening our imagination when we were little and encouraging us to be creative in our mind and to play an adventure in our minds. And I think that helped me. And she would be like, it would be things like, oh, look at this circle of rocks. It's like a fairy ring and like fun stuff like that then made me think about like connections between nature and other stuff. And I don't know what it is, but I think that when you fire up the brain, it puts it in this just hyperactive connection place, almost like.
And sometimes you get it wrong then.
Yes, and it can be, because they say that with everything, you know. It's like, I think about if you're an actor and you have to go to 1,000 auditions and you get one, you know, or if you're anybody who works in science or in anything that's research driven, you get the experiments wrong 1,000,000 times, and then one time it goes right. That's kind of that. So it's like the test of theories, and yeah, it's interesting that those are I would put those on very opposite ends of the spectrum. But if we look at them as far as like alternative ways to look at something and maybe looking for a deeper connection, maybe that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know, but. And then maybe sometimes, like having, I don't know, I just see it as like synapses in the brain, and like an active brain. You know, like they look at brain scans of elderly people who are very social and do puzzles and read and that.
Yeah.
And they look like they light up, like they're more active. And then you look at somebody who's isolated and doesn't have as much connection, or
it's like they're less alive.
Yes, their brain is less fiery and you know, connected. And like, it is true, if you don't use it, you lose it when it comes to our gray matter. So I think if you keep using it and you train it to, you know, it's strengthening. My mom would always say your mind is a muscle, and you have to strengthen it. And it is. So there you go. That I don't know.
I bet you if they ate a healthier breakfast, they would maybe have more light in their brain too.
It is the best place to start.
So good. Magic Spoon cereal. Yes. We had a problem at the Butler house here. My son became addicted to like Nutella on bread.
Oh, my gosh.
For breakfast.
I think maybe my boyfriend has the same problem.
I mean, it's a nice treat, but like, I just felt so guilty, and I was like, we got to solve this problem.
It's a treat. There you go. Not breakfast to start the day with to get you fueled.
You need to get those synapses firing, or whatever you said. Well, Magic Spoon finally did like what I thought was impossible, which is just to create a healthy cereal that still tastes good, because usually it's like one or the other.
Right.
And they have tons of flavors. So they have cocoa, fruity, frosted, blueberry
peanut butter.
flavors. Yeah, peanut butter and cinnamon.
Yes.
Come on.
My favorite
and
combo, peanut butter chocolate. Combine the two in one bowl.
You do the old combo routine.
So good.
That's a good tip, actually.
Oh, so
they
good.
have, like, it's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. So, like, whatever your New Year's diet situation is, they got you covered.
And if you don't care about that, it makes excellent ice cream or yogurt toppings.
Or bottomings.
Because that's important.
They have a deal for you guys. So go to magicspoon.com/braincandy to grab a variety pack, and then you can try them all today. And be sure to use our promo code BRAINCANDY at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/braincandy. Use the code BRAINCANDY for $5 off. And thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring the podcast, but more importantly, for helping my son beat his Nutella addiction.
Yes. I do.
All right.
I still love Nutella. Okay, so on the same subject of brains, this was just a real quick one, but also by our friend James Felton, that was talking about deja vu. And I watched a TikTok which is like now where I learn everything.
Your thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't watch it on my phone because I'll get sucked in. I can't have it on my phone. I'm too ADD for that. So
kidding.
So Ren and I will have TikTok time, and he'll be like, "You want some TikTok time?" And we'll go on the couch together and we'll watch it together.
Wow,
yeah.
I know. I got to get into it because my friend Kelly, she loves it too. She just thinks
for
it's
cooking.
The best. Yeah,
we make everything on there. We see TikTok video. Of course, TikTok videos will make you think that you can cook those meals real fast, and you cannot. So it does not happen in 15
FYI.
seconds. And you can't snap your fingers and your bowl is full. So
Good
I've tried. Okay, so deja vu. So, we always have like these theories about like deja vu. And I do always feel like if I experience it, it means I'm in the right place. And I'm totally going to stick with that. But there is a doctor who was on TikTok and he explained it real quick with one of the more now accepted theories, and because it is just a theory.
Tell me.
And he says it's a glitch in your brain. It's real, which we know, but what it really is a bad admin job in your brain, which is so great because I always say with my clients, we have a file cabinet in our brain and a secretary in there, and she's really, really lazy, and she just. Like if you, say are having you're experiencing anxiety, she'll just keeps, I don't know, looking at her magazine and like reaches back in the file cabinet and pulls out like the first thing that she can to like, here's how you deal with that, rather than like actually looking through like the file cabinet of like, well, what's like a good way?
Yeah, she's like too efficient.
And so sometimes she's like bad at sorting things. And so what happens when you are experiencing deja vu is simply when a short-term memory is accidentally stored in the long-term memory place in your brain.
Short-term, okay.
And it feels like it's happened before because our brain is telling us that it's an old memory.
But it's what?
A new memory. So what happens is we receive information and the secretary in our brain decides where to file it. Am I going to put it in short-term, or am I going to put this in long-term? And then like other things we do to like strengthen those long-term memories. And when things that are information that we normally shouldn't be putting in long-term memory, like information about our environment or just where we are, that's like more like, what do they call that? Peripheral details. That is usually that we don't store that in long-term memory. But sometimes our admin job, your admin work gets messed up and they accidentally put it in there. And so it feels for that second like it's an old memory, but only because it was accidentally filed in the wrong file.
I don't like it.
It's just like our brain is just, it glitches every now and then.
Why do you think, though, that error makes you think you've already seen the information?
Because it's your brain telling you that it's already been in there. So if you can imagine like those two file cabinets, you know, one is the short-term stuff, one is the long-term. And the long-term is like we label it shit that's been in here for a while and you already know. And the short-term is like stuff you just found out. And
yeah, you know what? Because
it's so fast.
When you're in the middle of a deja vu and you're like, whoa, this is our, like, I've already experienced this. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Correct.
Right.
But then you keep experiencing the moment and you're like, oh, and this happened too. Because that memory is still in that old place.
All right. I accept this.
Oh my God. You just gave me chills all over because you like just also strengthened my understanding of it through that. Ooh, that's so good. That must mean James Felden did a good job writing this, and which made me do a good job explaining this. So tip of the hat to him once again. So
because it would be really freaky if you actually could predict the next part and then it did happen.
This is so cool that you're saying this because why we know that it's not that, and this is referenced in this article, is because of another study that they did with the Sims game. And so I'll explain this one. So in this experiment, they used these like virtual maps. So you know the video game, The Sims?
Yeah.
They made a map or like a model of like, you know, I don't know, some area that looked like a basic layout, like a backyard or something. And they allowed participants to explore the area. And then some of the models had the same basic layout, but they had different skins. So it would be like the same layout, but it would be like a junkyard instead of a like green, regular backyard. But it would be the same layout, the same, like it looked very similar. The walls were in the same place. So when the participants like went around the environment that they've already been through before, but it was under a different skin, they were more likely to report a sense of deja vu. So their brain says, oh, I've been here before, but it looks similar. Right. And so the study looked at whether the sense of deja vu would actually help participants navigate their way around the maze, and it didn't. So that says that it's exactly what you're saying. It doesn't teach us information about the future, or else you would know where to go. We have the feeling, but they didn't know where to go.
Yeah, it doesn't increase predictions.
Yeah. And so yes. So we piece that together, and so and so there are some other theories that like involve memory, but the Sims experiment, it just showed that like it's more of a memory problem of where we encode it, and we can't quite like recall the previous memory because it didn't live there before,
right? And
so that is that.
Don't you wish it was real, though? Anyway.
Yes. Oh, righty. What else do I have to tell you about? Told you about some beans. Told you about...
I told you about some beans.
Yep. Oh, my gosh. Another crazy one.
What?
Okay. Did you hear a few weeks back about the man who was hospitalized because he covered his mouth and his nose when he sneezed?
No.
Can you believe that?
What?
Yes.
Hold on a minute. Let me think about this.
Yep.
Tell me what happened.
Oh, my gosh. It's so... Oh, my God. And then, like, the title of the medical journal, the case report... is like why did they do this? That was unnecessary. They called it snap, crackle, and pop when sneezing leads to a cracking in the neck. Yes. So the man showed up in the emergency room after he had pinched his nose and held his mouth closed when he sneezed. And when he did that, so it wasn't, people think that like, oh my God, your brain's going to explode, or like there's like an urban legend that your eyeballs are going to pop out of your head. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll explain later why that can't happen.
Okay.
And so he held his mouth closed and he sneezed. This is so terrifying because I hold my nose when I sneeze. Yeah. I read this and I'm like, oh my God, my mom always told me not to do that. And she was right. So, okay.
Well, I mean, that's nice of you though, because nobody wants your spittle, on them.
Yeah, and my brother told me, because I'm grossed out about, I'm worried that it's going to like shoot out my nose, but my brother told me that if you say the word achoo while you sneeze, you pretty much eliminate the it coming out of your nose. So what happens, and this is what happened to him. So he experienced, when he sneezed and did that, he experienced a popping sensation in his neck. So what happened, and so he said it got worse, and he experienced painful swallowing, and then he experienced a change in his voice. And what happened is that his neck down to his rib cage made it like this popping and cracking noise that meant he had air bubbles that were deep inside his tissues and his muscles. Yep. Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah. No, I'm only laughing because this article is written again by the same guy. I must have just clicked on all of his articles.
He's great.
And he said, it says, or they were harboring 2/3 of the Kellogg's Rice Krispie trio inside his chest cavity. That's so funny. How could I not laugh? So
that's awful. Though. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So what happened is like all of that cavity filled and the tissues filled with air, and it sent like the pressure like through his soft tissue, and it ruptured the back of his neck.
Wow.
And usually that's caused by like blunt force trauma and sometimes even like vomiting and extreme coughing. But, luckily he was able to recover, but he had to be put on feeding tubes and like antibiotics just like as a precaution. But, yeah.
Did you say it ruptured his neck?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Like, what does that mean?
It says, it said during the act of suppressing his sneeze, he had ruptured the back of his neck. It's a scan of the soft tissue. So like rupturing the soft tissue in the back of your neck.
Right. Yeah. And it makes sense that normally happens during extreme coughing fits.
Yeah. And it said that it had caused air to leak into the retropharyngeal region, which caused the pain and his loss of voice. Oh, it's like the front of his neck. Almost like the front, like soft tissue, like around like your vocal cords and like all the. Oh my God, a rupture! It's like that means like it like broke through. So he was like, yeah, definitely, don't do that.
Well, it's weird though because you would think that would happen more frequently, given that we all sneeze all the time.
You would think. It
must have been a total freak thing.
Yeah. And I read about that guy because he was referenced in this other article about a YouTuber who wanted to see if it was possible to sneeze with your eyes open. Because there's the urban legend that it will make your eyes pop out of.
Well, because it isn't possible, right?
It is not. And you can feel safe about that. And the reason why it's not possible is because there isn't the ability to build up pressure back there. The reason why that happened in the neck is because the air had nowhere to go, and you can't build up the pressure of the air back there. And because the air spaces in the nose and throat aren't connected to anything behind the eye. There's like no way to sneeze to create a pressure that would force your eye to shoot out. And the gross thing is, like, they were interviewing a doctor about this and why that can't happen. And he said, well, your muscles aren't strong enough to do that. But also, if that were to happen, your eyelids would not be strong enough to hold back your eyeballs.
Yeah, right.
That is gross to me. That your eyelid, like the idea that if your eyeballs were to pop out of your head, you could not close your eyes and stop that from happening.
I really don't even know how eyeballs stay in there.
It is, you know what? Another TikTok video I found, because you can watch anything, is a guy who has a prosthetic eye, and he answers all your questions. It's like Ask Me Anything.
What
with
does
prosthetic
he have to say
eye.
About it?
He talks about taking it out and cleaning it, and people are like, "What would it feel like if you touched it?" And he tried, and he's like, "Oh, it feels like burning." And I was like, don't do that." And
wait a minute, he does take it out and clean it though?
Yeah. It's
feels
more like
burning?
Because people said, what does it feel like to touch the skin behind there?
Oh, okay.
Because what it looks like is it's almost like it's not like a whole eyeball. It's not like he had this guy in particular on YouTube doesn't have an empty eye socket. It's more like it's filled in the back, which maybe they do, and you just pop in
there.
You pop in a lens. Like it almost looks like a really thick, like. It almost looks like an eggshell, like a thick eggshell that you just, that you just put in there. And yeah, and he the thing that I thought was weird, because he was people asked him, how do you clean it? And he showed people how you clean it. And he was like, oh, you just take it out and you rinse it off with water. And then he makes sure you plug up the drain so you don't drop your eyeball. And then you rinse it off with water. And then you take a little soap and rinse it off. And then you just pop back in. I was like, what? No disinfectant, no and you're just doing it with regular hands. I feel like I got to be more careful around my lady parts that time of the month. And this guy's just I can't use a regular soap to clean down there. Just on the outside, I got to use a special soap. And this guy is just popping his eyeball in and out and cleaning it with hand soap.
Wait a minute, you use a special soap down there?
I have to.
Why? Oh, you're sensitive.
Because the pH it'll throw everything off. I couldn't have a fake eyeball.
Hold everything.
Yeah.
Well,
what? This is common. There's special. There's I use a really great black-owned brand. Shout out to what's the name of it? Crap, I don't know. I find it.
That's all right.
It's really good though.
Well, but if let's say you use,
it says made by for people with vaginas by people with vaginas, and I like that.
What about if you use Dove soap on your body? You still can't use it on your vagina?
No.
Wow.
I can't even use it on my anything that would soap could get down there.
Wow,
I won't even use that on the upper half. I use our Function of Beauty sensitive skin with no dyes and no
okay, that's good.
And that's what I use on my body, and then I use a special stuff for
You know what I use on my body? A Theragun.
Oh. My God, I swear that helped my relationship.
Why?
because Ren and I were like really tense about, it was like probably like 3 months ago or so. We just had, it was like right around election time. There were like a million reasons to be tense. 2020.
Say no more.
Say no more. And we got the Theragun and I gave it to him for his birthday. And he used it and looked at me and was like, you know what? I think that everything is good. My shoulders were just tense.
Oh my God.
And we were like in better moods. I used it and I was like, for the first time, I looked at him, I'm like, this is like drugs. I feel like I'm high right now. And that like, it just releases all, like I felt so good, like it's so amazing. Relaxed. And we, ever since that, have just been like harmony in the home. I swear I do not have anything other than my own anecdotal evidence. Don't come back to me and be like, well, it didn't help my relationship. I can't guarantee that. But I know that being less tense in my back and my shoulders and my body helped me be less tense in my life in general.
Well, yeah, because this year has been the worst combination where everyone's under extreme stress, but you can't as easily relieve it. You can't go to the gym. You can't go outside as much. So you got to get a Theragun for Pete's sake. It's a handheld percussive therapy device. It releases your deepest muscle tension, depth, power, speed, but it's super quiet like an electric toothbrush. Mm-hmm. And it's just great. Like I actually, right before we started recording, I said, Adam, get that Theragun. I'm going to need it tonight because I have a little knot. Yeah. And then it takes 2 seconds and then you just feel better. Well, it's really, really nice.
One of the things I love about it is how there's a Wi-Fi, one that's Wi-Fi enabled and equipped where there's an app that you use on your phone. And so it tells you you don't have to worry about, I don't know where the muscles are or what to do. This tells you exactly where to go, what place to do it, for how long, when to move it. It is like having a personal masseuse that you could use at any time, and it's the exact pressure that you want, and it's not like you got to get in any weird position or it's difficult to use. We're like watching TV. Well, no, I've used some of those, and it doesn't have this as adjustable handle. I can't say more about how much. And now I see people from the challenge and everything using it, and I'm like, I got it first.
Yeah, and you can try it too. Try Theragun for 30 days starting at only $199. Go to Theragun.com/braincandy right now and get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's Theragun.com/braincandy, Theragun.com/braincandy.
That's the cost of one massage.
It really is.
It is.
Like, that is a small price to pay for better back health.
Yeah. Oh, God. Sure. Yep. Oh, yeah. And neck, and neck. That's not his name. Excuse me. Ren threw out his neck, or slept weird on his neck the other day, and that Theragun helped that too, saved that too.
Saves the day.
Oh my God, so good. Yep, it's regular. Okay, so just to finish up on eyeballs, because this, I felt like I can't rob you of this fact. So the YouTuber who was trying to sneeze with their eyes open, you can do it, but it doesn't do anything, and it just is uncomfortable. But there is something that can happen to your eyeballs with extreme coughing or extreme vomiting, and it is one of the most disgusting pictures I have seen. There is something called lens subluxation. Lens subluxation. Okay. Which is the dislocation or displacement of the lens in your eye.
Nope.
Yep. Susie, I'm going to send you this picture just so you can react. Because you have to. You've done this to me.
I have.
It's only fair. And then people can be like, I just like seeing your reaction, hearing your reaction to it. It's so... Oh, and also it tells you what's going on beneath your iris. Imagine if the pupil of your eye, like a contact lens, just slipped away.
This can't, I don't even understand.
Do you see how it's like that lens that the pupil that should be in the middle, Lord. And then behind that you can see the muscles in the eye? So
that is horrific.
Do not try to do that. Don't cover your nose. You don't just be careful.
Stop being weird.
Stop. Just don't be weird. Just say a chew. The end.
Yeah, problem solved.
Problem solved.
We had
just
the answer in kindergarten.
Right. And in all the cartoons that we've ever seen. Oh, my God. So many Freudian slips. But not really Freudian, just regular
Eyeballs
slips.
are so tender and juicy, and I don't understand how we keep them so safe.
It is weird. You know what's weird is, I have really, really light-ish eyes, light enough eyes. And Ren has dark brown eyes, and we see very differently in different light.
You mean...
I can see well in the dark, and he sees well in... I can't go in really, really bright light.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even open my eyes. Like, what's the problem? Like, I can't. Like, when we're in the
typical?
ocean. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. It's because I do have, genetic predisposition to macular degeneration. But I learned with my 23andMe test.
I do wonder. That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
Does eye color affect vision in different settings?
Yeah, because I don't know. If your eyes are lighter, does it block? Because we definitely see, like, in light. But he also has, what is it called? Stigmatism. So maybe that has something to do with not being able to see it when it's darker.
Is he a morning person? Or a night owl like you?
I'd say a morning. It's weird because, like, I used to be a night owl, but I'm kind of not now. I think I've changed my schedule, and we're pretty in sync. Like, I've never been with anyone, even in my own family, where I've had our schedules so synced up. I mean, I was wondering this. Like, we eat every single meal together. We, and I love it. But then that was not how it was in my previous relationship. So I'm like, do most families do this? What is I don't know
if most of them do, but I sure do. And I always wanted that for you because it's really
love
nice.
It's the best. I mean, it is so great. So yeah, so now we're pretty, what's happening back there?
I didn't know.
Is it the ghost?
No, I'm sorry. That was on my phone.
Oh, that was fun.
I was bothered because it looked dirty and I was trying to clean it.
Gotta clean it. Well, I get it. So that's actually been some good advice that I did get from, I think it was my supervisor and I talking about this and, and like, just what can we do to feel better? And cleaning things, just like you feel anxious,
please.
Take a drawer, dump it out, just one, and you'll feel better.
I know that.
Yeah, so I get that need to clean that phone, Suze. Do what you got to do. Self-care.
That's so funny. I just thought maybe since you could see better at night, maybe that was part of what made you such a good night owl. And if he's a morning person, it might be because like he can see so good in the day.
Wow. But that's definitely switched. Now I wake up at like 5:30 or 6, and I have like I clean the house in the morning, and I have my coffee.
Wow, you're raring to go.
And after I did that 12-week body take-back program, I really focused on like getting a routine. This is really interesting. I learned, Ren showed me this, another TikTok video where we learn everything, TikTok University. So it was on sleep and why it's important to have a normal sleep cycle and sleep, stick with your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
So humans are, at least according to this TikTok doctor, really like one of the only animals that doesn't keep a regular sleep cycle, that goes, oh, it's nighttime, I got to go to bed. We can control that, or that fluctuates more for us. And we're not as controlled by that. So what happened, but we, our social lives and technology and all that has evolved way faster than our brain and our old animal, what we're supposed to do, whatever you call it, biological instincts and stuff like that. So what happens is if we're on if our circadian rhythm tells us that we need to go to bed at 10:30 every night, and that's what we're used to doing, and we stay up past 10:30, what it does is it tells our brain, you're in danger. The only reason why, because that's the only reason why an animal would not go to sleep, is if there was a threat and he needed to stay up to make sure he was safe. So what we do when we skip that time and when we are thrown off that schedule and we stay up, our body tells us, well, fuck, there's some danger. And so it makes it more difficult to go to bed. And then you know how it, like, the later you stay up, it's like you feel that, like, adrenaline feeling.
Yeah.
That's your body saying you're in danger. Their only reason
awful.
Isn't that awful? It made so much sense when he showed me that. He's like, "This is you."
Because you know how, like, when you have insomnia and you're like up all night, and you just don't feel sleepy at all. But then the next day, boy, do you feel tired.
Right.
Why do I feel tired in the day then? Why can't it be in survival mode?
It's the same as, like, have you ever had, the only thing I can relate it to is, like, when I was rock climbing once and it was the first time I was, like, lead climbing. I was so scared. And I was on such an adrenaline high that when I finished and I got back down, I instantly fell asleep. Mm-hmm. Right there. It was like the adrenaline crash, and then your body has to recuperate. So
there's a limit on it.
There's a limit. So our bodies the next day are saying, I am drained. You have got to let me repair because I fully had an adrenaline dump that I got to, like. And so, when I've had that feeling before, and I kind of, like, put all the dots together when I saw this video. My mom, this was when I was in grad school, I had that feeling because I couldn't go to bed, and then I'd get all wired up. And my mom was like, you need to run. You need to just go put on your shoes and go run around the block. And I would do that, and I would come back, and I would feel so good, and I'd fall asleep. And what that showed, what I put together after seeing that TikTok, it's kind of like what happens, with anxiety and stress. There's an external stressor, and it creates a adrenaline response in us, and we don't do anything with that. It's kind of like, the animal on the plane sees the lion. It says the adrenaline pops up and says, you got to run. And then the gazelle takes off running. And then the adrenaline works out through that running. And then he's fine afterwards. If we're like, the adrenaline gets all built up in there, but there's no way to work that out, it just creates anxiety and worry and stress and ruminating thought. That's anxiety. That's where that comes from, is we can't work it out.
Excuse me. I've been struggling with it so much that I wanted to read this book. It's called Nerve, and it's about the science of fear. Because even though it's anxiety that I have, what it feels like a lot is fear, because it's like a racing heart.
Yes.
I mean, it's all the same chemicals and stuff.
It is. That is it.
And it's what you always talk about in how we've evolved. We don't have to run away from bears usually now, but the stress and whatever
still
simulates that same. Yeah.
Yep. And you're still going to have the same, because they're
yeah.
I can imagine it. This, like, analogy just popped in my head. I don't even know if it works, but I think it will. If you had one of those cars that had, like, that are, like, souped up and have, like, the nitrous oxide boost, and like they're like race car drivers, and they're like racing, and then they get it up to a certain RPM, and then they hit the NOS or whatever it is, nitrous oxide, and then it goes like vroom. If you just kept hitting that, it would break the car. If you that car, it only works when it's like at a certain RPM, or it'll blow the engine out. Like, that's it. Like, you gotta rest. If we're just always pressing that, it'll like fuck us up. So
it's annoying though how your brain, like, malfunctions kind of, though, because the dumbest stuff. Like, even if my garbage can is too full, I'm not kidding you. Like, it's over the top. And I'm like, why am I anxious about a full garbage can? Come on, Sue.
Well, what that is your brain is seeking places. What our brain is dying to do. It's like we're holding, you can imagine it like we feel these feelings of anxiety. And imagine it as like holding a huge, heap of garbage. Like, you're holding this like big like armful of anxiety. It's like just like all this like I don't know, imagine it like, I almost see it as like if you were to take out like a VHS or like one of those, I know you have to be alive when VHSs and cassette tapes were there, and you were to take out the ribbon of that, that stuff, like the film, like it's all tangled and all bunched up. I always imagine that's what like anxiety looks like. And I got this big bundle of it, and I'm carrying it around. Your brain is dying to unload that, dying to get rid of that. So what it does is it looks for boxes around. And it's like, I gotta put this in one. I gotta put this one in the box. And the first box you see is the garbage disposal. And so you're like, that's it. And you dump it all in there. And it's like, fuck, it doesn't all fit in there. And that's not actually where this needs to go or where this comes from. You're looking for where this all came from. Where did this come from? What's the box this fits in? Doesn't fit in the garbage disposal box. Now I'm still carrying it around. So what we have to do is we have to trace it back and like trace it down to what is the real source. And if we can, so you're able to identify, it's fear. What am I fearful about? There's a whole shit ton to be fearful about. So if we address what the real big box is, which is we're in a pandemic, that we don't like, we're fighting an invisible war, like we don't know what's going on politically, there's so much shit. That's the real box. But it's harder to see that box when you're inside of it, and it's like can't even recognize it. You're like, I just gotta put this shit down. So it's like that's what therapists help you do is let's untangle that. And let's put it in the right box. So we're not trying to jam it in somewhere it doesn't fit, which just causes more anxiety and adds to more of that tape.
Yeah, and I think so many people are dealing with that. So
I'm available.
Sarah can be reached at
solutionsoc.com.
Well, let's wind it down. How about that?
Yes. We learned a lot about sneezing.
Learned a little too much about sneezing and eyeballs. We learned that Pythagoras is a kind of Looney Tune.
But James Felton is our favorite author writer to read about all that through. I learned.
Funny.
So I'm so glad that you know him and that I can like share. And I feel like I never give credit to. You always do that, and I love that.
We
you give credit
decided
to the authors.
That Ken Jennings is a total creep without any evidence of it.
Zero, but we're fine with that.
Zero.
It's a theory, and I have a bunch of those. So
and Deja Vu isn't really that exotic.
Just like bad brain sorting, but that's okay.
Right.
It means
our
that
secretary's
you
a lazy ass.
You need to give her a little kick in the butt and teach her where to put things. Actually, you can't. She's just going to be lazy sometimes. It's fine.
We're just going to hope for LeVar Burton to take over.
I'm going to sign that petition.
Yeah, that's nice. He would be really good.
The best.
Don't forget to subscribe, you guys.
Yeah. And have you joined our book club yet? I love those book clubs.
Oh, my gosh. Good reminder. Yes.
Yeah. Because, you could do it at any price. If you just, love listening to us on the podcast, wouldn't it be fun to talk to us IRL? I mean, not in real life, but in real time.
Zoom life,
and Zoom life, which is life now, pretty much. And you can come join us. It's so much fun, and you get to pick your price and also learn and also laugh and sometimes cry, but mostly me crying.
Yeah, it's really special. I'm really proud of the book club.
Yeah, it really is.
It's good stuff.
Can't wait. All right, friends.
People. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, try giving my podcast, Miraculous Mamas, a listen. Miraculous Mamas is a safe and inclusive place for you to find a huge amount of educational and relatable information about childbirth and parenting with absolutely everything in between. Each week we discuss important topics, share great resources, hear from experts, and listen to birth stories, all in an effort to bring you reassuring and informative experiences so that you know that you are not alone. That's all on Miraculous Mamas podcast. Look for the podcast link in the show notes or simply search for Miraculous Mamas on your podcast app.